It's been a while since you last heard me on about nasty stuff. It's been a while. Hi guys, it's me, KW. You don't look like your picture is back nastier than ever. So much so that I have to insist that if you're under 18, please stop listening. This podcast could be not safe for work, so heads up, use headphones. Also, we're not licensed professionals on these topics, and this is made apparent in this episode due to us not knowing anything at all about these STDs and STIs. It's been a while since we've had sex ed. Okay, let's get into it. Howdy, everyone.
You just sound sad now.
I am sad.
Is this podcast a cry for help?
This podcast is a cry for help. Welcome to You Don't Look Like You're Pictured, a podcast. That's what it is. I'm going to leave it at that. You Don't Look Like Your Picture has been gone for a good amount of time, mainly because we got to a point where like our schedules didn't like align, and I couldn't like figure out what else to write about or like kind of topic points to bring up with. So I kind of spent like the last few months. I want to say that I was writing shit. I wasn't. Honestly, I was just kind of sitting in my room brooding, being kind of a little bit pathetic. Hell, you know what? I've decided to like stop complaining and to like just to do this. And pure forewarning, we're going to try to restructure this show a little bit. We've had 9 episodes put out, and it's all been like a little bit too structured, in my opinion. So we're going to keep this a little bit more loosely based. Before we get into that, though, I want to go ahead and introduce somebody you haven't heard from in a while. Who is this? Who's on the radio?
Hello, everybody. My name's Shiloh.
Okay,
Did that
how
work?
about... This is fun. PT is really fun.
Okay, that hurts my
And
throat.
everybody's in Colorado.
I can't
and
read my vocal cords. I'm a singer now. Don't you know?
yeah. Oh, yeah. And if you do that, you're not going to be able to fucking talk. So now there's just going to be me talking for an hour. I'm glad that's funny. Cool.
It's all fun and games till the podcast is just you.
Yep. Here I am. Yeah. Who are you?
Shiloh.
Yep. That's her.
Yep, it's me. In the flesh.
What you hear is what you get, apparently.
Yeah, it really is.
Shiloh, let's do a little bit of a Shiloh check. Go to like the Shiloh report. Hey, how you been the last few months? We haven't seen each other at all.
No, we haven't. We live in this under the same roof, but we don't actually physically see each other. I don't even see his car half the time.
We live under the same roof. I heard a bunch of sheep in my room, and I've been hiding it from her for a very long time. There's a lot of bleeding, not bleeding as in like bleeding out of the asshole, which is what I'm currently doing right now, but like bleeding as in like a lot of baths. And so Shiloh really thinks that I'm having sex, but I'm not. It's not happening for me.
Which, like, if that's what you sounded like when you came, you were just banging.
No. Oh, God. What a horrible way to start. This is the perfect way. That's even worse. So, like, when you're coming, you're like,
what is like the most gnarly?
Shiloh, it's time for the report. What's on the docket here? How have you been?
Well, I don't have an STI anymore, so that's cool. So last year, I almost said designated. I got diagnosed with HPV.
You were assigned HPV.
I was assigned HPV that I was transitioning because I was going to be 25. And so they're like, okay, now you're at the point in your life where you need to have HPV. And then we'll
a
just
weird
do that
rite of
until you
passage.
It is. It's strange. My cervix do interesting things throughout different parts of my life. No, yeah. So I found out I had HPV. That was... it felt like a low blow for me because I'd never had like an STI or STD before. And so when you hear that you have one, it just like everything changes. I mean, the only good thing that came from it was that there was a possibility, like more likely than not, that it was going to go away on its own. Because I was vaccinated for like the other 9 strands that could cause cervical cancer, but it's still like looming in the back of your mind thinking, oh my God, I'm disgusting. I'm trash. Like all those stereotypes that you've spoken out against, you start putting on yourself. And so it's a really shitty feeling. And I also, with that strain of HPV, I got genital warts, which enhanced the stigma that I was putting on myself. and that was cool too. So like had to burn that off with acetic acid, and that was fun. But it's interesting the way it changed the way that I view dating and having sex with partners, because before I didn't use condoms. I'd ask, be like, hey, you're good, right? And they'd say, yeah. And I'd be like, all right, cool, let's fuck. And now I'm very cautious. I'm more cautious than I was. And like, I should have been the way that I am now with sexual partners. But I think, some good did come from having HPV. And luckily that, it was something like HPV and not, HIV, where it could do damage to my health. You know what I mean?
See, Shiloh's been going through something pretty big, kind of a big realization. And she's kind of the first of like any of us to like really like have this realization, which kind of sucks because like having an STI or STD scare is the worst way to be like, I'm going to like practice safer sex now.
Right. Because I mean, you think about the sex education training you get, especially in the mid fucking West, and it is so subpar. Like, I think subpar doesn't even begin to describe how bad it was, because it's like,
absolutely,
because people don't talk about it, and that makes it difficult to try to implement safe sex later on, because you're like, well, I'm just not going to talk about it because like if I find out I have it, then that's it for me. But it's like, don't you want to know that either you do or don't, or that your partner does or doesn't, so that even if they do, you have that option to say, do I want to continue to go through with this or not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a touchy subject that like people from the previous generation don't like touch upon very well. They just already have a big understanding, but it's just, I don't know. For me, I don't know about you, but like whenever they were doing sex education, it was more like, these are the dangers of sex. Like it was it was a horror type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you got an STD or STI, you were just like, it was like wearing the scarlet letter, essentially.
Exactly. And they would use like verbiage like infected.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh my God.
And like you were horrified as like a kid, and then like you're like, oh fuck, I gotta be safe, or else, or if I don't wear a condom, then I'm going to die.
Yeah, like, exactly. And like, I mean, you think about what it was like in the 80s to be infected with things like HIV and it turned into AIDS, and just knowing like what that outcome was, and you translate that into our day and age, and people are terrified, but that's because people don't talk about it.
And it's because of that, it's created a social stigma to people having it and being ashamed of it.
Yeah.
It's such a weird feeling that we're still trying to get over. I still kind of am. I've had an STD. I don't know if it's STD or STI because I educated in the Midwest.
Right. Like, what's the difference?
What's the difference? I had gonorrhea from a previous partner.
I think that's an STD. I think like the way it was described is like STDs. It's like a inflammation, like the pelvic area is a disease. I don't know. And I think STI normally if there's not symptoms, I don't fucking know. It's like,
we're here today to talk about STDs and STIs.
How versed we are with STDs and STIs.
We're here to talk about.
Thank you for your patronage.
We're here to talk about STDs and STIs. What are they? I don't know.
We don't
you
fucking
figure
know.
it out.
You figure it out.
But yeah, because that whole social stigma, STDs and STIs aren't really talked about very much online. And now that we've gotten to a point where we're more rapidly dating, I would say a lot more people are rapidly dating due to online dating being more present and common in everyday life. It's important to like actually understand how to like be safe while you're like meeting complete strangers and like fucking them for the first time online. A lot of people just like want to bone, yeah, and they just go for it, and they don't even like question the history of like other people. And nothing's wrong with like the history of other people. If they've had like a lot of sexual partners, that doesn't mean they're automatically going to be affected. It's just more you want to make sure that you're like tested, like you're up to date with like your status, and you know if you have anything. Just because the more that happens, where you just kind of be like, oh, I've been okay, nothing seems to be wrong, so I'm just gonna fuck somebody else.
Yeah,
that creates more problems.
Exactly. And like that's like a huge myth, is thinking that, oh, I don't have any symptoms, so I must be fine. Like that's literally not the case at all, because you could have something, and like you should want to know so you don't give it to someone else. And if it's something that can be treated, then you want to start treating it immediately.
And this is a big thing for what you got. Can we talk about that openly, or do you kind of keep that?
No, that's fine.
Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit more about like the most common STD or STI that people have in the United States, and that is HPV.
Yeah, it is. Boy.
And it's incredibly common, apparently.
Yeah.
You have more of a firsthand experience about this. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, I mean, when I was being told that I had HPV, I was like on the verge of a breakdown. And she's like, no, it's fine. A lot of people have it. I was like, but I shouldn't have it. It's not fair. And I mean, there's people that I've told about it, that like close friends. I told them how I had HPV and they're like, oh yeah, I did too. And I'm like, really? They go, yeah, it went away on its own. I was like, oh. Okay. Well, that's reassuring. I was like, still made me feel like shit because I got genital warts, and that's like, it feels gross, but at least I'm not alone. But yeah, they said about over 80% of people will get it. I mean, like, the younger you are when you get HPV, depending on the type of strain that you get, it goes away. Like, your immune system is strong enough to fight it off. Now, it's when you get older and you get HPV, it probably will stay in your system, and you want to keep an eye on it.
Exactly. And that can be pretty bad. From what I'm reading online, it says that most types of HPV have no symptoms and cause no harm, and your body gets rid of them on its own, like you're talking a little bit about. This is an STI, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an STI that affects more women than men. Like, men carry this and give it to women. Yeah,
and like, men, the shitty part about this is like, there's no blood test for this. The only way you can screen for it is like through a woman's cervix. So a guy wouldn't really know he had HPV unless, one, he got genital warts and like HSV, like herpes, wasn't coming up as a positive, or if like he had sex with a partner that had HPV and got it from her. Other than that, like, there's no way for men to test. I wonder if you can like screen their asses for it, like swab the inside of their ass and see if there's like abnormal cells there. I don't know. I feel like that tissue down there, I feel like it would do justice.
It could.
I don't screen asses a lot, so I wouldn't know, but I think that's a suggestion for doctors.
It looks like there's more than 40 types of HPV.
Oh, there's a shit ton. They can't make vaccinations for all of them. So they're like the 9 big ones that cause cancer. Like, they all can cause cancer at some point.
They all can, which is why it's a little bit dangerous.
Yeah.
And it's not just vaginal either. Apparently, you can get it through like anal sex, oral sex, vaginal. You can even get it by like skin to skin contact too, which is kind of scary.
That was so fucked up. I was like, what the fuck?
Like, Jesus Christ. CDC recommends young women ages 11 to 26 and young men ages 11 to 21 get vaccinated for HPV. I don't think I ever did. Did you?
Oh yeah, I did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I did and I just didn't care because I was gay.
Unless your mom was like super against like vaccines, you probably got vaccinated for them.
I remember she took me in for a bunch of shots when I was like,
because it's like a series of 3 shots that you get. You have to go back like 3 different times.
So that's HPV. It's very it's the Bud Light of STIs, which I don't want to say that. It's real cute. It doesn't do a bunch of damage, but it can get in your system and be there for a while. And it's just, people say it's like not cute, but it's like, it's something that happens. It's so like widespread. And compared to like the other STIs and STDs, it's probably the one that you want to get.
Yeah, right? Like, you know, if you have to do it all over again, what would you rather get, HPV or HIV? Not that if you have HIV is bad, but like, at least you can at least for the most part, HPV goes away on its own. That's
just more of a reason to use more protection. There's another one
like
here.
5 condoms at once.
5 condoms at once. And this is going to suck, but I haven't used condoms too much, which is probably why I got gonorrhea. And
Gone with the Rhea.
Rhea. She left on a plane.
She left. She's gone.
She's gone. She packed my bags pre-flight. So I had gonorrhea. I didn't even like get tested for it. I had a partner who caught it from me. I'm guessing he had also slept with like another person. So I don't know if like he had it. It could be. Who knows? He said he didn't get it from them, but I'm not them. I don't know if they're lying or not, whatever. I just got tested just in case. I didn't even know if like I got infected. I just got treated for it anyways. He said it couldn't hurt, but I didn't really show any symptoms. Nothing really hurt on my body. Gonorrhea is something that like makes your dick or like your urinal area burn a lot. Ooh, it burns.
What is the sensation down here?
Ooh,
it's exhilarating.
This urine is very spicy. Yeah. Ooh. Must have been all those flaming hot Cheetos I stuffed up my urethra.
My pussy.
My pussy. That could kill like a woman, can't it?
Well, if that's the way to go, then that's the way to do it. If that's going to kill me, then that's the way to go. I died doing what I love, shoving hot Cheetos up my pussy.
Oh my God.
That's going on my mausoleum.
In your you're getting a mausoleum now, not just a tombstone.
Yeah, not just a tombstone. I say too much shit that's good. Like, I got quality content.
You already have a plot bot at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
It'll be like Joan Rivers jokes, but like my mausoleum with like every one-liner that I've had. Every shitty one-liner. Not as problematic as her, but you know.
This sucks, doesn't it? And this is like a weird quote on your tombstone.
This sucks, doesn't it?
This sucks, doesn't it? Oh man, this bites. Everything's coming up Shiloh.
Regular anal is good.
Regular anal is good. I want to talk about chlamydia next. Is this one that you got?
No, that's the only one. HPV was the only one that I got, but I did have like a syphilis scare. A month ago.
Right. That's right. A syphilis scare. Chlamydia, we'll talk about that here in a bit.
Yeah.
But chlamydia seems to be like the second most common one.
It's not herpes?
No, it says chlamydia. It says HPV and chlamydia.
Damn.
So it says here, sometimes you'll notice odd discharge from your vagina or penis, or pain or burning when you pee, but only about 25% of women and 50% of men get the symptoms for it. So it's one of those diseases that's very under the radar. It can be very under the radar, and it's caused like by bacteria. And so like it's treated by antibiotics. So it's kind of an easy fix, I guess. So it's not like super insanely going to like fuck up your life.
Yeah, there was like, I saw a billboard sign, which is not a very reliant source at all, but it was saying that gonorrhea was becoming more resistant. It was either gonorrhea or chlamydia was becoming more resistant to the antibacterial drugs.
Whoa, that's bad.
And I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's real cool. Real cute.
I love that for us.
She's changing. She's practicing every day.
Very, very good.
Very good. What about syphilis? What do you know about syphilis? Because I don't know too much about that.
Well, I know that if you don't have penicillin, you die.
Oh,
I mean, it takes time.
Jesus Christ.
Because, like, there's different stages of syphilis, and the very last stage, it literally starts eating holes in your fucking brain. It is a silent killer.
Oh, my God.
It takes time, but can you imagine? I mean, that's like after 20 years of it festering in your body, but my God, can you imagine like what that would feel like? Just holes being dug out in your brain?
Yikes. Yeah, this is the one. This is like the one that like people are scared of, I would say.
I would say, because if you don't know about it and like you're just like letting it go on after a while, it's kind of irreversible after a certain point.
Exactly. This is like the disease that like you'll get and you don't know you have and will end up like staying with you and like messing up your life.
Yeah.
Me reading this right now, I'm getting like that feeling again that I got back in middle school where I was just like, oh man, I'm gonna get infected, I'm gonna die. But
right? It's really hard to pull yourself out of that mindset, but even though like STIs and STDs they're so common, but we still like have that voice in the back of our head that's saying, don't get it, I don't want to be the one to get it, I don't want to get it, kind of a thing, you know what I mean?
Right. And the reason I keep bringing like this feeling back up is because this kind of leads to another stigma that I see a lot, is people getting embarrassed, like too embarrassed to go to the doctor about it and just hoping and praying that it goes away.
Dude, yeah, like that was like, you're worried that your health professional is going to say, like make you feel like shit about you having an STI and make you be like, oh, you shouldn't have so many sexual partners, kind of a thing, or right. You shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. And you're just like, okay, well, it's happened, I did it, I have it, so fucking help me move forward with it, you piece of shit.
Yeah, that whole embarrassment, like they don't want their doctor to be like talking about that and shit like that. But the thing is, after like seeing a doctor myself, and you've seen like doctors say this, like they want you to come to them as soon as possible to get treated.
Exactly. Like and honestly, they're so, well, at least the ones that I've had, they're so fucking nice about it. Like they talk about it like it's just a casual conversation. Like, yeah,
right,
yeah, totally, this is fine. As they're like burning off my genital warts, like, yeah, this is normal. Like I've seen much worse. I'm like, okay, this is not a conversation I really wanted to have where you're right at my vagina, but okay.
Yeah,
we're talking about it.
You're vulnerable in that state, but they've like, in all honesty, they probably have seen much worse shit than just a couple of warts on your pelvis.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, no, they said they've seen genital warts like literally inside of the vagina. I'm like, ow!
Yeah, they had to burn that out.
Oh my God. I don't even know how that works, but it sounds painful. And like for those of you that have, I'm so sorry.
Burn it with fire.
Burn it. Ooh. No hot Cheetos.
No
I like
hot
the
Cheetos.
texture. It's a texture thing for me.
It's very rocky and bumpy. It's like the Rocky Mountains are inside my pussy. Ooh, go snowboarding. Oh, let's talk about herpes. Herpes, because you've had experience with that, haven't you?
I haven't, but I know family members that have herpes and they live with it, and they're like, I think they're fine now. It's just, whenever people talk about it and make light of it, and they're kind of the butt of the joke because they have herpes.
It's like, it is kind of, yeah, as like a kid, you always hear people making fun of other people like having cold sores and shit like that. Like, oh, you have herpes on your lip. Whoa. Stay away, everyone. Like that kind of shit.
Yeah,
Although,
and it's just like, it's like for some reason when you find out someone has herpes, they're just painted in a more negative light than I think other people are that have an STI or STD. You know what I mean?
right.
Like HPV sounds bad, chlamydia sounds bad, gonorrhea and all that sounds bad. But it's like when you find out like someone has herpes, people are like, oh God, why?
Like it was their fault for catching
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And I'm like, it wasn't intentional, but I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, like once you find out that you have herpes, at least the person that I've talked to, it's just like you typically don't show other symptoms. Like there's medication you can take to keep from getting the outbreaks. Obviously, the most important thing that you want to have with sexual partners in the future is to be transparent about what you have, because you don't want to be like, well, I don't have symptoms, so I can't transfer it to them, because that's literally not how that works at all.
Not at all. And the thing is, herpes doesn't disappear either. It's a virus, so it stays.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real cute.
It's real cute. But like you said, there's like medication that you can take in order to like take care of it and shit. And it's apparently really easy to catch, which is a bit uncomfortable. It's almost like the fucking cold of STDs or STIs.
Yeah.
And that sucks because STDs and STIs are apparently very easy to catch. And they're a lot more prevalent than people think, which kind of leads me into like another thing that I want to talk about, like how common these diseases are, and like the whole stigma of being embarrassed by like admitting that you've had a disease and stuff. It's so weird, and it really just wastes people's time.
Oh, yeah.
In all honesty.
And like for me, I think the worst part was not really telling friends, but it was like, knowing that at some point I was going to have to tell, future sexual partners about it and like have that conversation, because that's also very uncomfortable, 'cause especially when you've never done it before. You're like, how do I approach it? When is the appropriate time? And what happens next, kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. So let's get into that a little bit. So on Grindr, I know that Grindr has this. There is like a little box that you check to show that you have been tested for HIV, and it shows if you're positive or negative. And HIV nowadays it is still deadly. It can be deadly from what I know, but it's treatable. And if it's treatable, you can have something called a false positive or something like that. I don't have a lot of experience with HIV. I know somebody who has gotten it, and they have treated it to the point where it shows up as what I think is called a false positive.
Yeah, so it's like they're showing that they had HIV and now they're getting tested for it, and it's basically coming back negative.
Oh, it's called undetectable.
Okay, I was like, false positive means like it says you had it, but now you didn't actually have it. So like that person still has HIV, but it's just like it's not as bad as it would be because they have it under control, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? So it's not as easy for them to transmit to other people. And you can take PrEP now. Like I didn't know there was a medication you could take to prevent HIV from, infecting your body.
Yeah,
I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, PrEP is a big thing, especially in the gay community now. Everybody in LA fucking has PrEP because they can afford it, but I can't. Apparently PrEP is a bit pricey though.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I feel like you can go to those free health clinics and you can get it for a more affordable price. Maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so back to it. HIV undetectable apparently means that it can't be transmitted to another person, from what I'm reading. I need to read a little bit more about this. That sounds about right,
but I mean, we're not medical professionals or anything, so please just take everything we say with a grain of salt.
But me personally, I've had a run-in where somebody has had HIV and got tested for it, and it's fucking scary. Because it's the worst feeling, like getting HIV. From what they've said, it almost feels like their life is over.
I can't imagine.
It's just like it's like it's like a no turning back type of point where you're like,
it almost
fuck,
feels like
it's
a
never gonna
death
be the
sentence
same.
sometimes. And I mean, I know in the 80s it
In the 80s
essentially
it
was.
Yeah, because they didn't know what it was or how to treat it. But nowadays they're understanding a lot more about it and how to treat it. And it's turned into the main focus of why you need to be safe during sex and like wearing a condom and being on PrEP
Right.
because of the virus. HIV is like the biggest, scariest.
It's like the poster child for STDs. That
It's
and
not
herpes.
scariest, but yeah, it's pretty much is like the poster child. It's just a disease that the reason why it's so scary is just because like it's still a newer disease that like medical professionals are still trying to get their brains wrapped around
Right.
to try to understand a little bit better. People who have HIV are very much highly stigmatized because of the whole vocabulary of being infected or having a disease, which they, in medical terms, it is a disease. It's a virus. But like, it's also not as much of a death sentence as like people assume it to be anymore. And these people can still date actively and have lives. But because of the HIV's past and being positive, that how that was in the 80s, nowadays people see that as like, I cannot be around this person or else I'll get it too. And so you'll see like a bunch of people who are dating around not have very much luck because they have HIV and they are having to tell people this.
That brings me up to something I wanted to talk about, and that you could probably, maybe you might understand a little bit more than me, because this is a thing that happens a lot in the gay community. They're called bug chasers. Have you heard of them?
Bug chasers? No, what is that?
So these are men who want to be infected with HIV.
What?
Yes.
Whoa, what?
This is a thing. Me and my brother, we were talking about it this past week. He told me about it. I was like, that's a thing? He's like, yeah. And I was like, what the fuck?
What?
Why? It's just, yeah. Well, some people just really want to have it because it makes them feel like they can be a part of a group that they can't ever be exiled from. Some people
That's wild.
There was one story that I read, like this one person was part of a Christian church and they were essentially exiled for being gay. And so they wanted to infect themselves with HIV so that they could die from doing the thing that they loved.
That's so buck wild. That's so fucked, in all honesty.
I was like, there's so many people that don't fucking want HIV, and the fact that we're trying to eradicate it and you guys are kind of just...
That's sort of like covering up their shit. They didn't choose to have HIV. It was like put upon them due to circumstances. It's kind of like a punch in the face. It's just like, oh, I want it. I want to have it because...
Yeah, and they call... The way they refer to HIV is they call it the gift. It's a gift. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It really does. Let me tell you.
The gift, huh?
And then the people that have HIV that are giving it to the non-HIV carriers, they're called gift givers. Have you ever met anyone that was like this or anything like that?
No.
I'm surprised that you haven't heard about it.
I haven't. I've heard of people using it as like a weapon.
Weapon of mass destruction.
Honestly, I've heard of this story of this girl in Africa that would who got it because she got raped, I think, and she used it to get back at like men because she was angry that she was raped in the past, so she wanted to get back in some way to like her aggressor.
Did she give it to the people that raped her?
No, she would just have sex with men. She was just angry at men. In general. There
was another one too where this guy, he was in prison and he was getting raped constantly, and what was it? So he finally had sex with someone that had HIV so he can get infected with it, and then just so he would stop getting raped.
Like
and
a
it worked.
Biochemical weapon.
So it's like, I mean, I get it. You got to do what you got to do. And it's like, I think if you had to pick and choose, I would probably choose getting HIV rather than getting raped constantly, you know?
That's a dark topic, but yeah, I guess so. Things have gone downhill. Well, not downhill. This is hard to talk about.
I know, right? It's like I want to make jokes, but I also don't want to do like really shitty jokes that just kind of where we become a part of the problem. Like we are the problem rather than trying to address the problem. But it's like,
I kind of want to get into the fact that people who don't get like an STD or an STI are incredibly lucky, apparently, because it's hard.
It seems so commonplace now.
It's very commonplace, which can seem scary, but you need to like be prepared for it and not stigmatize other people for having it.
Because then when you get it, you start stigmatizing yourself, and then you don't know how to deal with it.
And that's the worst thing you can do if you have an STD or an STI. I wanted to get into, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but I wanted to get into like a question that I have for you and that you addressed to me. When should these things be discussed? If you're like dating somebody from like online, if you like meet somebody online, you're like meeting for the first time, when should this be like discussed with them?
That one's interesting. Yeah. Okay. It really, for me, it's not something I want to tell on the first date, because now I'm not sleeping with people or hardly even kissing them on the first date. It's more of if I really trust this person with this type of personal information kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it depends. Like, if it's the first date, it's probably because I feel like we kind of connected. And it's also like, hey, this is also what I've got going on. Do what you will with that information. Like, there was one, I waited till, the second time we hung out and like we were making out, and like this really frustrated me too. Before like we did anything, I was like, I want us to get tested to kind of like start that conversation as like before we do anything. And then the next time we hung out, we were making out, and I said, just want you to know that I have HPV, so don't feel like, you have to have sex with me or anything. I just wanted to let you know that it's, it's not terrible, but it will go away. It's supposed to go away on its own, but I at least wanted to give you the option if you wanted to continue with this or not. And then like, I was still irritated because like, I still said that I wanted him to get tested, because like, even though I have an STI doesn't mean I need to be subjected to getting another one. You know what I mean?
Right,
well, I'm still trying to get through this one. It's like, that was like his mentality was like, okay, well, I don't have to get tested because you're the one that has an STI, not me. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, that's not how this works. No, that's not how it works at all. But all right, and thanks for playing this game, buddy.
Boy, yeah, don't like rely on other people to get like results to like, well, if you didn't get it, then I don't have it either. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
That's not a good thought process to have, honestly. So you would discuss it with somebody who you feel you've connected with, and you feel like things might get to that point.
Yeah, and so like there was one dude that I didn't tell, like even though we would make out and stuff, like I told him like I wanted him to get tested first, because this was like at the point where I still thought I had HPV, so I was just telling people that I had HPV as if, I still did, because I didn't know at that point, because I hadn't been tested yet, or tested again since I was diagnosed. And he just like didn't ever do it. And he just felt like it was expected, like sex was. And so I told him, I was like, look, I want you to get tested. And he goes, well, I mean, you were grinding on my dick pretty hard. And I was like, that doesn't mean anything. What that is, so that means, no, I don't need to get tested. It makes so much, you're right. I was grinding your dick so hard. Let's just fuck.
That's the physical message that I don't have a
response is that?
I don't have an STI or STD.
Yeah. I was like, well, clearly, she wants to fuck me. I was like, not necessarily. I was like, I can fake it too, okay? But the thing is, I told him that, and he goes, well, I've never had to do that before. And I was like, you've never been tested. He's like,
what?
No. And I'm thinking, you should probably consider fucking doing that, because I don't know how many sexual partners you've had. Not that it matters, but I'm thinking, don't you want to be safe about this? Don't you care? And so that was like, we had seen each other for a couple of months, but we never had sex or anything. We didn't get that far. And I just eventually like cut things off with him. But like, it was that instance that I just didn't want to even open up to him about my HPV because of like his personality. It just seemed really shitty. And I never had that conversation because like he was never going to do it. So I'm like, why should I try to be transparent with him if one, we're not going to get to that level, because I don't ever feel like we're going to be at that level because of the type of person that he is. Does that make sense?
That makes absolute sense. His kind of like mindset is actually so common, apparently. People have this idea like, I don't think I'm diseased, so I'm not going to get tested. When you think about it, it's pretty goddamn buck wild that you think that you're like so disease free that you never have to see a doctor. But it's more like you're making excuses for yourself not to go see one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's so weird. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, where are the places that you can go to get like tested and like easily? Because I know that Planned Parenthood has like easy
No,
testing,
fuck them.
like cheap.
Fuck them. Fuck
Oh.
Planned Parenthood. I tried to go there. They wouldn't help me.
Well,
Fucking
that doesn't mean-
bitches.
They're still offering like cheap like testing for people still.
Define cheap, because they were going to charge me almost like $300 to get tested because my insurance wasn't going through.
Ooh, okay, maybe more like available testing. Okay, so you
There
know a
are
little bit
free
more.
clinics out there, but Planned Parenthood is not one of them. It seems like that's the way that it's advertised, but it's not. Like, you have to have insurance. If not, you're bitch your ass. You're paying out of fucking pocket.
Huh. Okay.
Which it threw me off for a loop because I thought that's what Planned Parenthood like specialized in, like free STD testing kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And-
Well, I was reading up on it, and I was that's the same thought process I have. And like I read somebody said like, oh, it's great. It's like takes 15 minutes, and you walk in, and it gets done. But apparently, that's not the case.
Yeah, no, it walks in 15 minutes if you have money. If you don't, it's like, well, you better fucking figure it out, or I guess you just don't get treated. And I was like, that's cute. And so no, I had to like go to a fucking free clinic the next day because of that shit. Like, it was shitty because I was so frustrated because I thought I had syphilis, and I fucking go there. I had made the appointment and everything, and then those motherfuckers never called me. They said they did. They're fucking lying. I don't have any voicemails from them. They were saying that my insurance didn't go through. They tried to call me. I was like, that's funny because I don't have any voicemails from you. And they're like, well, it's gonna be $300. I said, well, I don't have that, so what happens now? And she just stared at me. I was like, so you just not gonna test me? She goes, well, do you have the $300? And I was like, no, I don't.
Oh, now I do. Yeah, it just magically
Oh, you know what?
appeared.
Now that you asked it again, I do have it. Thank
Oh yeah,
you.
here it is. In my ass. How about you
In
grab
my
it
ass.
out?
I hope you like it. My syphilis-filled ass.
Syphilis-filled ass. Oof.
But
So
yeah,
free
I was
clinics.
pissed off. But there are free clinics. It feels weird at first, but that's because like, you feel like when you go to places like that, you just feel like people are judging you, or they're like, oh god, this bitch is here. She probably fucked like 20 people. I was like, well, more like 12, but still, I'm halfway there.
Well,
You're
sir
half
or,
right.
Sir or ma'am, why are you here?
Why are you here? Okay, like, I'm the security officer. I was like, so I stand by
Oh.
my last statement. Why are you here?
I'm sorry, you work at a free health clinic and you didn't expect people to come in with this type of problem?
Yeah, it's like, I hope you're happy. No, it's so weird though, because I've never been to one. So when I finally went and I'm going in, they're asking me all these fucking questions about sex, and I'm just casually answering it. And then like I told them how I might have syphilis because my partner told me, like, that some dude I fucked had told me he got tested for syphilis. And so she's like, well, who is he? Where does he live? I was like, I don't know. I mean, I went to his place once.
What?
I don't know his life story. I don't know when his fucking birthday is. Jesus.
I might know him. What?
I might know. It's like, I fucked him too. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, wow. LA's a small place, huh?
It really is. And it's just, and like my favorite part about being there was that the dude that was talking to me before I had to like go swab my own vagina was telling me, oh yeah, you gotta be careful, you gotta use protection because you know what happens, you get S. I was like, really? Is that what happens? Because I had no fucking clue. 25 years old, and like, it just went right over my head. It was like, I felt like I was being lectured. So like the fear that it wasn't negative, but it could be perceived that way because he just seemed really cocky and sure of himself. Like, oh, I don't have any, so I'm gonna tell
That
you
kind
what
of...
you have some. And I'm like, fuck you. And take the
That's-
swab and put it up your ass.
Yeah, that's might not be the best bedside manner, to be honest. But a doctor does have to tell you, hey, you gotta be safe. But they could have just phrased it like that instead of being like, you have to be safe.
Well,
oh
my
no,
thing is,
why
it's like,
didn't
I
you
didn't
do
wa-
that?
Yeah, I was
Like,
like,
making
I
them
didn't
feel
wanna have a
guilty.
Right. I didn't want to have a conversation about it. I just want to like, let me get tested, draw my blood, swab my vagina. Let's call it a day, okay?
Like, I've learned
I'm
my
gonna get
lesson,
in and out
please just
after-
do
I'm
this.
gonna get in and out after this. Hurry it up. I'm hungry.
Yeah. I gotta feed my syphilis.
I'm treating myself, but no, came back good. Everything was Gucci down there. It was so weird because I was like, how do I swab my own vagina? I never had to do that before. And so like they give you 2 Q-tips, and I was like, what do I do with this? Or like, you're gonna do a swab, and I was like, oh, in my mouth? They're like, no, if
Your other mouth.
you're
Oh God, bedside
oh,
manner,
God, not
doctor.
that one.
Come on, we talked about this. You can't
God
just
damn
say
it.
that.
She's on a diet. I can't fucking feed her Q-tip all the time.
Ooh, boy.
No, I had to. So I knew I had to swab my own vagina, so that was cool. So I'm like literally like legs spread, like in a squat position in the bathroom, like putting the Q-tip up there, swirling it around, give it the old, Starbucks swirl.
Give it the razzle dazzle.
Give it all razzle dazzle.
Number 17, the spread eagle.
I know, right?
Oh god.
Oh my god! And then I had to, put it in like a little tube, and then they drew my blood, and they called it a day. It took like about an hour, but it wasn't as bad. You still have to make an appointment. You can't just show up.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you got your results within like a week.
Okay.
Which is nice. I don't like their system though, because they're like, if we don't call you, you're good.
Yeah,
if we
sucks.
call you, you have something. I was like, can you just tell me? Like, call me regardless. But I have like, other than like the HIV thing, like testing for HIV, most everything else comes up on an app. Like you can have your results come up on an app, so it'll say like, oh, negative or positive for this. And so I was able to get my results like within like 3 days.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, they don't do it for HIV though, just because I guess there's like a California health code law where they don't put stuff like that online, so you have to call them if you want to know. But like if you have it, they're gonna call you. So
oh, that's kind of man, fuck, that's kind of weird. Like they sell that information to like health insurance companies and shit.
Yeah, I just realized that now that we're talking about it. I was like, well. Yeah. That's out there now.
Did you know that? The app. That's so fucked. Did you know that like Ancestry.com and like all those ancestry like sites do that? They like take your family's history of like medical stuff and they sell it.
What the fuck?
To like health insurance companies. Yeah, and then health insurance companies do like a background check on you, and then that stays with you. And because of that, they would like charge you more. Does that determine
like your health coverage?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no, it's a huge problem apparently.
Oh my god, I had no fucking clue. That's bullshit.
Yeah, that's how like ancestry sites make their fucking money.
Wow. I'm pissed.
So back to like STDs and STIs. So yeah, there's a free clinic. It sounds a little bit weird at first, but anything's going to be a bit weird concerning this. This is something that people need to like change their whole stance and outlook on. They need to see this a bit differently, just because this is something that you kind of need to take something serious. It's almost as if like you have any other type of like serious condition. You need to like not stigmatize it, be afraid of it, or be embarrassed by it. You need to like go seek medical help, even if like somebody berates you for it. I think like what that doctor was doing is like a thing that people don't want to like deal with. They were like, the doctor's gonna like grill me or something that.
Sit there or just lecture me about having safe sex. Like, no fucking shit.
Yeah, no shit.
I get it. Just run the test, do that, and just leave me alone. Like, please stop.
And you know what? You're their patient. You could tell them, be like, look, I know I need to have safe sex. I'm going to do it now. I'd much rather not be grilled about this. I'd much rather just get the test results and just leave. And I know that's like super uncomfortable. You got to work your way towards it. It seems like, and you got to kind of work your way like to have this be a normal thing that you do, so that you can like normalize STDs and STI awareness. And like,
yeah, the only time like it sucks is if you're dating someone regularly and then they cheat on you and they catch something and they give it to you, then yeah. Like I knew someone back in Texas, his mom was cheated on and the dude contracted HPV and gave it to her, and she actually ended up dying because of it.
Oof. Yeah.
He has a strained relationship with his father now.
I would too. That sucks.
Yeah, she got the HPV that kills you.
So how often do you think you should get tested?
I think you should. It depends. Like for me, if I'm getting a new sexual partner, we're going to get tested before, and then we're going to get tested after. Like if we stop seeing each other, just to like make sure that everything's fine.
Right.
And then if it's a long-term relationship, like I'm actually in a relationship with someone, I only see us really getting tested, what should we call it? Just like the one time before we have sex, you know?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. That's me, because I feel like if you're in a monogamous relationship, you really shouldn't have anything to worry about unless you think that they're kind of, they have wandering eyes and they're doing something else.
Never hurts to be too careful. Maybe I would say if you're in a serious relationship, I would say like once every 3 months.
I think obviously I get a pap smear yearly, so That's a
That's
given.
true. Yeah.
I get checked yearly if I'm not doing it like, regularly like I am now. But other than that, I probably wouldn't be extra about it.
Okay.
If I'm in a monogamous relationship, obviously if I'm like seeing other people, I'm just going to get tested regularly. It's like nothing.
Right. That makes sense. I haven't been tested since a couple years ago, but I haven't been active at all sexually.
Yeah, so that's different.
I did mess around with this one guy, and I haven't been tested since, which is bad. But after everything we talked about, I was about to fucking say I'm not showing any symptoms, but we all know where that goes.
I know, we're like, oh, I'm fine.
I'm fine. So yeah, my thought process is before I decide that I'm going to like start seeing people again, I'm gonna get tested.
Yeah, so that you have a peace of mind, and then you also know that you're not gonna transmit anything to anyone else. And you can be like, hey, get tested before we do anything, and make them show you the fucking results.
Man, this was a very like Smokey the Bear episode where we just like only you can prevent STDs and STIs.
Oh, you.
Man, so you have stuff for me that like you wouldn't tell me about, but you want to like present. So how about we get to that?
One of my coworkers that I worked with back in Oklahoma, he had an issue where he was, he tested positive for hepatitis B, which is kind of similar, not similar as in how it reacts to your body with HPV, but it's similar as in like you can get it, but it can also go away on its own. Like he got the vaccine for hepatitis B, but he was like the 10% of the population where the vaccine failed, and he still got it.
Ooh.
But vaccines still work, guys. You still need to be getting them.
Still work.
Don't like, this is the exception. This is not the rule. Don't get it fucking twisted, you anti-vaxxers. That's why your kids have measles.
Look, medicine isn't an exact science.
Your opinion.
Okay.
You may have an opinion, but it could still be wrong, Karen.
Crystals work. And essential oils. That's better than science.
Basil up your vagina. It'll treat everything.
It'll do it for you. No, natural remedies suck. Don't fucking use those to treat STDs, STIs.
Yeah, like don't get it twisted.
Use medicine.
And so he was saying that, whenever he had hepatitis B, he abstained from, sex for about 6 months or so. And then he got like tested again. He tested negative for it, which like, it makes sense because I was kind of doing that too. Whenever I had HPV, I was kind of like I didn't have sex for 9 months. Because I literally, I told people about it, but I never actually engaged into sex.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. Like, after that whole experience happens, you're like...
You're fucking traumatized.
Kind of are.
And then you're like worried about giving it to someone, like, because you have it, but then you don't want to be that person that gives it to someone else because then you feel like shit, even if you are being transparent and open about it. But yeah, no, I didn't have fucking sex for 9 months. And so, like, this dude's saying the same thing. He was saying that, it took him a little over 6 months until he got tested and found out he was okay. Well, then he started seeing someone else, and in February of 2017, he said that, it's so sad, but he was diagnosed with herpes and then was also sexually assaulted in the same day. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, what a day.
What a day. That sucks.
Day. Yeah, and and then he had a partner, and he told the partner that he had that, and the partner was like, don't worry about it, it's fine. And like, he was really confused because he hadn't had his first outbreak yet, and he heard that the first outbreak is the worst, and I guess it's like your body purging it or something, I don't know. But I
don't know anything about hepatitis.
Oh, this is herpes now.
Oh, herpes. Never mind. I don't know anything about either.
I know hepatitis C is like, it can like cause your liver to shut down or something like that.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, and there's no vaccine for hepatitis C, so be mindful. Don't share needles. Make sure. Don't share in needles.
Don't share needles.
Don't share a needle. Your needles. But
cool, man.
Cool. Cool.
Sorry.
And so he told his boyfriend, he said fairly quickly, and like the dude seemed to be okay with it. And then, but he was like, during that time, he never undressed or wanted to have sex with him. And then, like, because he was really afraid of passing on to him. And so I guess that one broke up because I guess they broke up, but not related to him having herpes. Mm-hmm. And then like he tried to have one night stands with people. And so, but I mean, he told them that he had herpes kind of a thing. So like they knew. And so he would get rejected for it. I don't know how intense the rejections were, because like you hear horror stories where people are like, oh, what the fuck, you have herpes, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, at least I'm fucking telling you, you fucking douchebag. I could just fuck you right now.
It's so
like,
it's
who's
just
the dick now?
people think it's such like it's like some type of zombie disease. If you touch them, they're gonna like break out in a bunch of sores everywhere on their body.
Yeah, and
which sucks.
It does, because I'm like, you don't want to think that way, but it's so easy to fall into that mindset too, you know? But yeah, and so he started dating someone else, and he still feared having sex with him just because he didn't was worried about giving it to him. I guess they invited a third person into their relationship, and like the other dude that they had come in was not like okay with the herpes, but I guess they had sex anyways. And then they were out one night, and the dude broke down in tears, like the dude he was seeing, because he was like worried that every ingrown hair or whatever that he had was herpes. And so I don't know, I guess that ended up fizzling out too. But he decided to do research on the herpes, and he noticed that like a lot more people have herpes than he thought. And then he got tested again. I don't remember why, but he got tested, and then it found out like he tested negative for herpes. And so
what if false positives, huh?
Yeah, false positives. So like all these people he was telling that he had herpes, he actually didn't have it.
Man.
Yeah, so, but this, he actually was considering bug chasing for a minute. He was like, it was a brief thought, because I like kind of considered it, because I was like in such a bad place mentally, and so I don't know why I thought that was gonna fix it. He didn't get HIV or anything, but like he had thought about like the idea of getting it.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was just like looking for another person with herpes.
Oh, no. This one was a HIV.
Okay.
I thought that was interesting because it was after the fact, he had tested negative for the herpes and everything else. And I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting, because you don't ever hear people, openly admit that, you know what I mean? And he uses protection now. He gets tested regularly. He takes PrEP / Truvada. I heard Truvada, I was like, I just think about all the fucking commercials that they have for Truvada. And like all of the really bad side effects at the bottom that they're basically whispering. Like,
yeah, that's the commercial, huh?
Truvada may cause dysentery.
Whoa!
But works great. And you're like, what? Wait,
Truvada
say that again?
Truvada will prevent all STDs, but the alternative is you shit your pants.
You fit, yeah. You develop IBS. Wait, what?
Wait, I don't know. You're immune to all diseases, but you shit your pants.
You just shit, huh? Like, yeah, I just think of like that button. It's like you get this, but you also get this. And you're like, do I hit the button? Do I do it?
Which one do I pick?
But yeah, so that was like my little story that I had to contribute to this. Okay, so like the game that I had.
Yeah, I want to talk. I want to get into this. You have like a little game for me.
Okay, well,
like
I don't know how to play with one person. That's the only thing.
Oh shit. Well, this is gonna be kind of weird, like Dungeons and Dragons, but only with one player.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
I'm ready for STD Dungeons and Dragons. Stop doing it. We cannot afford John Cena's theme. We're going to get copyright strike. I do not want to get my fucking bones broken.
Copyright this pussy, John Cena.
Oh boy, what I wouldn't give.
I like that. Copyright this pussy.
Is that your new podcast?
Yeah.
Because you're fired. Because you're fired from this one.
Fired. You're fucking fired. You can't stay on topic. You fucking bitch.
Okay, what is this game?
It's called An STI is Born.
No.
So think of like the Name That Pokemon game, but this is we're gonna be naming that STI. So I'm going to give you symptoms, and you're gonna guess.
You're already giving me symptoms. Jesus.
And you're gonna guess what STI you have. And
oh boy, cool.
Are you ready?
Sure am.
Okay. I am small red bumps and blisters, or open sores in the genital area, or anus, bottom, that can hurt a lot. I can also cause itching or burning in the genital area, and also pain when urinating. What STI am I?
This sounds like a riddle me this type of thing. Riddle me this, Batman.
Riddle me this, bitch!
It's just a fucking riddle. Why are you like structuring it so weirdly? What burns when you pee, but also leaves a bunch of genital warts? What am I? Okay, so it burns when you pee and leaves a bunch of genital warts, open sores. Okay, I know that like gonorrhea and syphilis have the symptoms that like it burns when you pee.
And you got the red bumps and blisters too, right?
I'm gonna say syphilis.
Is that your final answer?
I'm gonna say yeah. That's my final answer.
Oh, I also can increase the risk of getting a certain STI if you have this STI because of open sores and stuff.
Okay, I remember reading that syphilis can lead into herpes, so I'm gonna say it's syphilis.
Okay, well you're wrong.
Cool.
It's herpes.
God damn it! Maybe it's the other way around.
I mean, I don't know. Let's find out. Let's play another round. You want to spin the wheel of STIs?
Spin the wheel. It's a wheel of
spin the wheel of fortune.
Wheel of fortune. Jenna, what do we have?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna put like a wheel of fortune like sound effect there.
Right. Oh my! And while you're trying to guess, I'm just gonna start playing the do 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 do.
No, every time I get something wrong, I want to play the wheel of fortune. Like no, not that. It's like. Let me see if I want to find it.
Like a little flute slide or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so I give you yellowing of the skin or jaundice. I give you a tiredness or dark colored urine. I can also give you joint pain and swelling and hives in a skin rash. My symptoms will usually appear about 6 to 12 months after you get infected. What STI am I?
Boy, why am I thinking of scurvy? Because that's not an STI.
No, but I'm going to tell you like a way you can get this STI that I would not have ever thought of.
Okay.
After you don't guess it right.
Oh, fuck. Oh, you just automatically know, huh?
Yeah, you just know. You just fucking, yeah.
Yeah, all right. No, it's fine. I'm just
no, continue to berate me. That's what this podcast is about.
Yellow skin and a rash. You don't have to do it. I'll put the music in. That's what editing is for.
Oh, right.
Fuck. Yellowing of the skin.
Joint pain and swelling, hives and skin rash.
Skin rash. All the things that I already have.
Wait, what does this mean? It's like never Google your symptoms on WebMD.
Allergies?
Allergies?
Fuck.
Cancer.
Yellow belly or whatever.
Yellow fever.
Yellow fever. That's what I was thinking of, but it's not yellow fever, is it? I don't know what it is. I'm going to say it's tichondrias.
I'm going to sleep. I'm just going to start talking to you like a bop it would.
Bop it.
Twisted.
Ow! I think it's tichondrias. What was it called?
Oh,
trichomyosis.
Yeah, no, that's not it.
Damn it.
Nice. Okay,
I'll put the sound in. That's what editing is for.
Okay, I'm sorry. So this is hepatitis B, actually.
Okay, I should have thought of that because I know like yellowness of the skin is like related to hepatitis.
So you want to know a way that you can get this that I didn't even think that you could?
Is it rusty nails?
That, drug needles with an infected person, so don't share needles.
Okay.
Don't share needles. Get a tattoo or piercing using a needle with the virus on it. But this last one, I was like, what the fuck? This one is use an infected person's toothbrush or razor.
Whoa!
What? Right? I was like, what?
Whoa! Holy shit!
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh.
I'm never borrowing your toothbrush
I'm
ever
never
again.
gonna borrow your fucking toothbrush again. Hepatitis B because B stands for the bitch that I am.
Is that like your Real Housewives of STD
that's gonna be
quote?
my tagline. It's gonna be my tagline.
I have hepatitis B because I'm a bitch.
Because of the bitch that I am.
Da, 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 da.
All right, I'm gonna do 2 more with you.
Go for it.
Oh my god, I never thought about that one.
Yeah, just say it.
Yeah, just fucking say it already, okay? Just do it. Okay. I give you a foamy yellow-green vaginal discharge with a strong odor.
Okay.
I can also give you discomfort during sex when urinating, and sometimes I'll give you irritation and itching on the genital area. And also having me can increase your risk of getting HIV if you're exposed to me. What STI am I?
I want to say it's chlamydia because I know like you get discharge from that.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
Itching doesn't happen with chlamydia though, I don't think. You just the discharge and like burning. Well, that's two of the symptoms. I'm going to say chlamydia.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, it's my final answer. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said
Well,
it.
guess what? You're wrong. Not surprised again.
Yo, boy. Can't wait to have
You
sex
want to know
again.
what it is?
What it is? What is it? Yeah, I want to know. What is it?
I'm trying to figure out.
You're just looking it up now? Like, I don't know what it is.
I don't really know, actually.
I was
just
asking
making up
you.
sentences to see what it was. I'm literally asking you because I don't fucking know.
I just know the riddle. I don't know the answer. This weird STD riddle.
This is trichomoniasis. Is that how you say it?
I literally said that, and you're like, no, it's actually pronounced trichomoniasis.
You said trichomi. Well, that's not how it's written.
Trichomoniosis.
Maniasis.
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 Trichomoniasis.
Trichomoniasis, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Okay, trichomoniasis. Yeah, so you're wrong.
Well,
it
cool.
was Cool. Awesome. All right, next. Okay, this is the bonus round.
Yeah,
you get
maybe
it-
I can redeem myself.
I know. If you get this right,
That's it. You get it right.
you get bragging rights. If you get it wrong,
Hey, I got this one answer right on this cool STD riddle game. Anyways, what are you into?
no. What if you like went to go get tested? They just tell you your symptoms and they make you guess what you have.
Butt fucked. Oh my god, that would be horrible. Maybe that's why people don't get STD tests.
I know, they think like that probably actually happened to someone. They're like, I'm never fucking doing that again. They're like, I'm never gonna get tested.
I'd
This
love
is
to
some
get
kind of
tested.
fucked up game. Like, you guys are a bunch of fucking sadistic motherfuckers.
Yeah, I would love to get tested, but every time I go, the doctor just gives me a bunch of
Keep
riddles.
playing riddles, and I I never get a clear answer as to what I have, so I just tell them I have herpes.
So I think I have herpes.
I think I have herpes. He never really told me.
You just
He
told
just
me a
read
riddle.
off my symptoms, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I have open sores, yes. What is it? He's just like looking at me like, yeah, go on. You're like, I don't really know what to say.
Indeed, what is it?
What is it? I don't know, and I'm the one with the lab coat. Ooh. Last but not least, I give you painless sores, usually in the genital area, but possibly on the lips or other parts of the body. I also can give you rashes on the palms and stomach or soles of your feet that don't usually itch, but it goes away on its own. Oh, God. What is happening?
Is this
I can
the disease?
This is the disease. This is the onset right here. What's happening to me right now? I also can give you raised gray, warty looking areas and moist places, such as on your genital area, armpits, and anus. What STI am I?
I don't ever want to hear about your moist genital area.
Moist. You sure? I can read it again.
Those words should
Moist.
never be combined.
Moist genital
Moist
area.
genitals is so gross. Please stop. This seems like something that is kind of uncommon. Am I right? Is it like a common
That's pretty
thing?
common.
Well, I'm fucked. Yeah, that's funny. That's me, isn't it? Yep, that's me.
Yep, there it is.
There it is. You did it right on the head. I've already said chlamydia.
Yeah, but did we even use chlamydia?
Yeah, it hasn't. I haven't been correct yet, so maybe I should have just be like, it can't be chlamydia because I already said
Yeah,
it.
it can't be that because I said it. It was still wrong. So why would she choose one that I've already said?
Yeah, this is really cool sound.
There it
effect.
is, the beatboxing segment.
We can't afford royalty-free sound
What
effects.
if like he started like freestyling and beatboxing, like giving you your diagnosis?
Is this herpes? I'm gonna guess it's herpes.
No, you're still wrong.
Damn it.
Could have guessed that. I would have at least gotten that right. No, it's syphilis. Good old syphilis.
Damn
I named
it.
my son Syphilis.
Wow, that's insane.
So fucking awkward.
This weird moment of reflection for both of us.
Where we're like, wow. Oh my god.
Cool, man.
Very cool. Thank you.
Is that the end of your game?
That's it.
Riddle me
that's
STD.
And guess riddle me STD, and you lost.
Oh, God.
You lost.
Everyone loses in this game.
We lose because we were born.
We lose because we're born.
You
Okay.
lose from day one. Okay.
So that was really fun. What have you taken away from this?
Man, I am definitely more careful now than I am before. I kind of sound like a prude, if you will, by the amount of times that I kind of ask my partners to get tested. I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse.
I wanted to like touch on the fact that this is something that everybody thinks that they're super chill about this or something like that, and the way that they're doing it is like prudish or like very weird to be asking all of your partners to get tested, where it should be actually be commonplace. I would think that should just be like a common thing that you would talk to your partner about automatically.
Right. And if they're put off by it and they're like, oh no, I never had anyone ask me that before, and then don't fucking run away right now.
Yeah. If they're not willing to comply, then it's
not worth fucking them.
It's not worth it.
It's not.
That's like,
you know what? Because it's like I've waited for people that have gotten tested, and you know what? In my opinion, it's worth the wait because I'm being safe.
Yeah, that's the big thing at the end. It's just like being safe, and I really don't. I hate how this whole episode was like such a Smokey the Bear, like you can prevent STDs type of shit. But like I wanted this to be more like a common place where we can just talk about it. And I'm sorry, like we didn't have a bunch of information. Like, we're not like fucking doctors, but like, again, I want to stress that like we're on the same boat as you guys in this instance.
And it's to like kind of start the conversation that, it's uncomfortable to talk about, but it does need to be talked about, and to make people be more aware of the risks that you take when you're having sex. It's not a bad thing if it happens. Just like know how to handle it. So it's not a shock to you if you do get one. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You should be more aware, but at the same time, you shouldn't stigmatize it so much because that's only going to make you fear it even more.
To where you're just terrified of getting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's not going to help.
You're so terrified that you can't have a healthy sex life like that.
That's not going to help anybody in the end. And that's it. That's all we have for STDs and STIs. I have a story. Can I tell you like a creepy little story before we head off?
Yeah, do it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this story is off of Reddit. This is by a poster called Sticky Sicky.
Oh, my God.
Here it goes. Creepy guy ruined treadmills for me.
What the fuck?
So I've never posted here and also typed on mobile, blah, TLDR at bottom. So my first year of college, about 4 years ago, I lived in an off-campus apartment building meant for students. Perfect. It had a pool, rec room, 24-hour gym, etc. All those cool amenities that sound nice to a 17-year-old who's about to live on her own for the first time. Never did I think I could run into a threat in my own little college apartment bubble. So one night I got home from a friend's house around 2 a.m. and had so much energy. I never really went to the gym, but I thought running on the treadmill sounded really nice. Plus, I thought I'd be alone down there. I go and there's only one other person in the gym, some dude like sitting on a machine on his phone. I didn't think anything of it, so I started running and listening to music. He progressively got closer and closer to me until he was sitting on a machine that was directly behind me.
What the fuck?
And he wasn't working out. I tried not to look back at him too much, but I knew for a fact he was trying to look up my shorts while I was running. They were baggy, so yeah, I don't know. It was when he finally just sat on the floor that I knew for sure he was sneaking a peek. I felt so uncomfortable after I realized that I progressively slowed the machine and headed towards the exit. Of course, as soon as I start to walk away, he approaches me. He repeatedly asks me if I would go on a date with him or if I would come hang out in his apartment upstairs. He pretty much blocked me from exiting the room, and I didn't know what to do since no one was around at that hour.
What the fuck?
I tried to tell him that I had a boyfriend and I wasn't interested, but he wouldn't take no for an answer. I finally gave him a fake phone number, so he let me go home. I ran to the elevator to get back to my floor, and I felt really lucky that he didn't follow me to see which apartment I lived in. So creepy dude tried to catch a glimpse of my teenage butt running, let's not meet.
Oh my God. What the fuck is wrong with people?
Has this like shit ever happened to you? Like how's like gym etiquette for you? Have you had like any creepers at the gym?
It's not that bad for me when I'm at the gym, surprisingly. But there was this one time where I left the gym and I went to Barnes and Noble. I think I told you about this too.
Ooh, yeah. Oh,
I went to Barnes and Noble, a place that, I thought was like a safe space for me. And like, I just left the gym and I was looking for a book and I was on the phone with a family member. I had short shorts on and not that it fucking mattered what I was wearing.
Honestly.
And just a t-shirt. And I'm sitting there like reading the book. And then like I see this man probably in his 50s like come up and like stand next to me, and I'm like just looking at the book, I'm talking on the phone, and then I just hear like this grunting and very heavy breathing, and I like from the corner of my eye I could see his leg like twitching, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? Like what is he doing? Why is he doing that? And then I kind of like look up just a little bit, and this dude has a fucking hard on standing next to me.
God.
So he's essentially just like getting off of me, like looking at my short shorts and shit. And so I was so fucking uncomfortable. I felt gross with myself that I was like, I'm being sexualized and I'm at a fucking bookstore. Are you kidding me right now? So I was like, I'm gonna look for a book somewhere else. I just said it out loud and walked away. And people were like, why didn't you say anything? I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
What
I was
the
like,
hell?
I don't know what this motherfucker is capable of. I was like, I think if I can safely remove myself from the situation, I'm gonna fucking do that. I know I like drama. I like to start shit, but I also care about my safety about 90% of the time.
But that's like defensive. You were thinking more defensively than like, oh no, I'm going to escalate this because this is
I'm
shit.
gonna rip your dick off. How fucking dare you?
No, that was the safest thing to do, in my opinion. Honestly, strangers this is the worst. If you're alone and there's a stranger being this fucking creepy to you, it's the best thing you can do is just to get out and like make sure that they're not following you.
Well, yeah, and this was like a college gym, right?
This was a college gym, and what I'm thinking is that this was in like a building, and so like there were different floors and shit like that. So we could have like gotten in the elevator with her, which would have been horrible. This was a hard place to get out of. Maybe look around for like staff members or something like that. I know like bars do this. If like somebody's coming onto you like really hard and like you just feel very like uncomfortable by it and they just won't stop and they're like following you and shit. I know that you can like, there are like signs around and like in the women's bathroom. I know it's like some bars will have like order this if you need help. And so,
oh really?
Yeah. And, I know some bars do it, but even if like they don't have it, if it comes to it, maybe just like go to like up to a bartender, pretend like you're ordering a drink, and like maybe pretend like it's too loud for you to talk and just like lean up to them, be like, hey, I really need help. This guy won't leave me alone or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And they work at a bar. They're going to understand because unfortunately,
I'm sure that happens all the fucking time. The hyper masculinity that you get
that's so
confronted with on a regular basis, especially with people who are drinking, it's amplified. But, like, I can't imagine because, like, at that place, there probably wasn't anyone at a desk that this person could go to. Like, luckily for me, when I'm at the gym, there's, like, someone there. Always someone there.
somebody on staff.
Exactly. Someone on staff or, like, someone working out that isn't that person. So, like, I never feel like my safety is being threatened.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked how we can't, like, have, like, I think, like, going to the gym at 2 o'clock sounds like a good idea. And then have that be a horrible idea, apparently.
Right, exactly. Like, I mean, at a 24-hour fitness, sure, it's a big facility. There's people there constantly, as opposed to, like, on campus where you just kind of scan a card and you go in at your own leisure.
Yeah.
And no one's typically there.
That's kind of worrisome. I feel like they should approach somebody about that because apparently that's been happening, and, like, maybe they'll post somebody there or, like, they'll find a way to, like, put in a system or some shit. Somebody
like, yeah, you have security cameras, but that's not gonna fucking stop you from being murdered. I'm sorry.
Somebody here says, I know this sounds gross, but what you could have done here is when he sat down on the floor to sneak a peek. He should have just unleashed the deadliest, moist, spicy fart your colon could cook up.
Oh my god, yes, that is great. That is a great defense mechanism. Like, it works wonders, let me tell you.
Man, it's so fucked that you have to fucking evacuate your bowels just so like people will leave you alone.
Or if they're creepy enough, they'll be like, oh, it's hot. And
Oh,
like, God
God.
damn it. No, go away.
No, okay, on that
Why
note.
are you like this? All right, I'm out of here.
Jesus Christ. Okay, on that note, that's going to do it for us this week on You Don't Look Like Your Picture. Our Instagram is YDLLYP_podcast. Look for that for updates. We're starting this up. We're starting up the engine here. I know we've been gone for a very long time.
Vroom, vroom.
We have a bunch more that we have written that we want to talk about. It's a lot more episodes that we're going to get onto. We're switching it up. We're going to try to aim for a bi-weekly release schedule. So I'm not sure when this is coming out, but we want to be prepared so that we're putting out episodes every 2 weeks. We haven't set a date just yet, like a day. I would really like to. I think last time we did like Mondays or Tuesdays. Was that right?
We had Wednesdays
Like
is when
Wednesdays.
it released. Yeah.
I think that seems pretty good. So maybe like a Wednesday, I'm thinking. but-
Wednesday. Like next Wednesday would be good.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, this is going to be the first one that we're sitting down and coming back to. Season 2, huh? I kind of want this to be like an ongoing, just kind of discussion thing instead of like an expository about the.
That'll
horrors
probably
of
make it a
life.
lot easier to do.
Definitely. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, I'm KW Simpson.
I'm Shallow Rain.
And this has been You Don't Look Like Your Picture. Check yourself out for any spicy pee, spicy urine.
Ow. Oh yeah, if your pee is spicy, get it tested.
Why does
I
it
mean,
burn
like-
when I pee?
Maybe because I put cayenne pepper in there, but like, if you didn't, get it tested.
Okay, till next time, stop stuffing hot Cheetos up your vagina. Bye.
Bye. Okay. 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 Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
You edited
Fine, you edit it.
No, you do.
No, you do it. Just